not perfection. So it's not only not perfection, but what it is you showing up and saying yes to something.
Absolutely.
Is saying, I'm going to just show up and do my best.
Yeah. You're constantly having to, when you're living a purpose-filled life, balance care for self.
So it can get dangerous, but we can do both. We
Absolutely.
can take care of the self and make an impact in the world. And figuring that out is, I think, one of our life's journeys.
Hi, thank you for joining yet another episode of Get Set with Lissette. This is where we have inspiring conversations that empower you to get set. So today's episode is about purpose. And see, when I say purpose, I'm not talking about a destination, but as a relationship we build with ourselves over time. It's about identity, honoring where we come from, and having the courage to take risk even when clarity feels incomplete. Purpose often whispers before it even shouts. And today's guest, she's bravely listening. So I have the pleasure of speaking with Leslie Avila, who is the owner of Delightfull Co., co-founder of Raíces Creativas, and a fellow podcaster whose work centers culture, creativity, and community. She's a repeat guest, guys. So if you remember her, you'd like, wait a minute, I feel like I know who this voice or if you're watching, who she looks like. She was on the conversation that I had during Hispanic Heritage Month with my Latina podcast that I hosted. And she's returning because she is in a new season of life. And we're going to talk about that. And this is going to be a conversation where she's talking about how she's deepening her self-reflection, reconnecting with her indigenous ancestry, and preparing for a transformative journey to Ecuador. I'm beyond excited to reintroduce Leslie. Hey, how are you?
Hi, thank you. I love the reintroduce because I feel like it is a reintroduction of like myself in this season, but also like right now as we're having this conversation.
100%, and everything you've got going on. And that's why real recognizes real. We always talk about it. And there has been something about your journey and everything you've been sharing on your social media and the things that you're doing that I was like, not only is it something that I quietly am rooting for and just loving, I'm also like, no, the conversation needs to be had because you have not just put words and like talked about the things that you want to do. And when it comes to like trying to accomplish things, like you're getting all those things done, but you're taking beyond a leap now. Like you're literally moving, going, like taking yourself far, far away on this journey of self-reflection. And I know when we talked about Latinidad on the original Latina podcast, you had made mention of, for you, it wasn't just about Latinidad, like you were going into deeper roots and that you were already on that journey and path of like, what does that look like when it comes to our indigenous families? Like, what does that look like for our roots within? And now you're getting ready to go. So I feel like the conversation was just necessary, needed. And now here we are, new year, new me, and you're ready to go. Like, I just think it's like beyond amazing. So
thank you so much.
Girl, you deserve it all. Like, absolutely. Not that you need this, but I always do a this or that to get the icebreaker going so that we're ready to like dive into the conversations. Going into self-reflection and having that idea of purpose, it's going to be Coach. Kind of, and because Delightfull Co., if you guys don't know, they're part of it. The brand is also teas. Check it out. They're amazing. I've had them. So we're going to do like a little this or that, purpose-filled. Ready?
Let's do it.
So tea ritual or morning journaling?
Morning journaling?
Not the tea woman herself, but it's okay.
I can't. I'm a writer too. I need it.
Comfort or courage?
Courage.
We knew. Planted in your roots or wings to fly?
I'm going to plead the fifth, both.
No,
I can't do that one.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
I'll explain why later, actually.
I love it. I love it. Plan it out or trust the flow?
Trust the flow.
Girl, we different.
How I showed up today. I'm like, this is why we're
this is fun. And me, plan it out, clearly. Are you staying or taking the leap?
Take the leap all day.
I knew it, but I thought I'd throw it out there. So like I've said, today is about purpose. And just not just purpose, like we said about destination or what traditionally it says. Well, it's about the journey to what that looks like. And I feel like you're the perfect person to have that conversation with. But before we get into the questions, I you'll learn again. I'm a plan it out kind of person. I decided to look at like the overall definition of what that looks like. And so it says that purpose is the alignment between who you are, what you value, and how you choose to serve, expressed through intentional action, not perfection. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, I love that. Like, we usually don't take the leap because we need everything to be perfect.
Amen. That's
and planned out before we do anything.
Absolutely.
I see myself in those situations sometimes, but I like that it then affirmed that definition. Courage is about intention.
There it is.
Not perfection. So it's not only not perfection, but what it is you showing up and saying yes to something. Absolutely. Is saying, I'm going to just show up and do my best.
Yes.
And I'm going to follow through.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
And see, I love that. And that's why I picked out this exact like explanation when I was doing my research, because I feel like purpose is an evolution. Like, it'll evolve when you evolve.
Yes.
And I thought that this kind of shows that it's in that alignment of like where you are presently and what you've got going on. Your purpose is definitely going to kind of like align with that evolution of wherever you are in that life and that space of what you have going on.
And I love that you're like reiterating that, because at the beginning of that definition, it talked about who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
You cannot know your purpose until you know who you are.
Say it.
Like, really talk. And we want to know the what before we know who is asking the question.
That's it.
And so, like you said, because we know that, then it should be easier for us to know that our purpose will change because who is asking the question is changing constantly.
Absolutely. And I can't remember, it was on Instagram. I saw a video, you know, those like motivational, like Instagram reels that pop up randomly on your algorithm. I want to say it was a clip from something that Viola Davis had said, but I'm not positive. So don't quote me or come for me, guys. But I want to say it was her. And the gist of what was said, and it stuck with me. And again, I saw it literally talk about alignment. I saw it yesterday before we've had this conversation. And she said something along the lines of, we need to recognize that our purpose in life is not about doing things based off of us, but rather the work that we do and the impact it'll have for others. That, you know, sometimes people get caught up in the what's my this, my that, my whatever. Now, I agree that you must be fully centered and fully aware of who you are so you can lay out what that is and do. But let us also remember that the work that we do and our purpose should most times, if not all the time, I just don't want to be, you know, all encompassing, but should be based off of the impact on whatever that is for others. What does that look like? What is that going to do? What is that going to be? What is that going to change? What is that going to look like after whatever your purpose is?
You know, that's why I'm so passionate about talking to people about what they want to do, like goals, dreams, visions, plans, projects. I'm a project manager, you know, I'm a CEO, like, because we can get it can get dangerous when we get into these spaces of taking care of ourselves too much in order to get to perfection, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not good, so I can't do this, but there is a time where you're going to be very uncomfortable. You're probably going to be feeling sick to your stomach, and you're going to have to show up because you made a decision to be the person you are today and to make the impact, like you said, that you have, and to change someone's life that day.
Absolutely.
You make that decision. So it can get dangerous, but we can do both. We can take care of the self and make an impact in the world, and figuring that out is, I think, one of our life's journeys. I
think that's exactly it. It's having that balance on the regular, because I've had conversations with other guests and other people, other entrepreneurs, and I remember vividly there was one guest of mine, and we were talking about something that he and I had spoken about was the idea of he's become obsessed with the business that he was building up, and he believes in this obsession, and he's like, if you don't obsess over the work, then is it really something that you're driven to do? And we had this conversation about that. And I had asked him, well, where does that then lead to the idea of like balance in life? And do you believe in balance? And he was like, well, right now my balance is off kiltered, but it's because I believe that the balance for me and my family is I'm going all in now because then later I'll be able to take my foot off the gas and we'll be able to kind of coast. And he knew that the vision of the business was greater. And so it led me to what the conversation we're having now when it comes to purpose. I thought about that because you're constantly having to, when you're living a purpose-filled life, balance care for self and being fully and wholly who you are supposed to be and understanding what that looks like and who that is and acceptance and healing and doing the work necessary for that while also pushing and being uncomfortable and doing whatever that purpose is once you figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And so balance may not feel balanced in what it's supposed to be, right? When you think of it from a scale, which is why I said that. And yet it's that constant ebb and flow of
think of, do we need better terminology? Because is balance a good word to describe it? Because it might not always be balanced. So is it this relationship between care and well-being and purpose and purpose and drive? Goal-oriented people like goals. But also where does your well-being fit in that relationship versus balance? Because I have heard people say this a lot too, and it makes me think, of that in regards to my life.
Well, thank you for the beautiful segue without trying to, because that was going to be one of my questions. How did you understand, how did your understanding, should I say, of purpose look earlier in life versus now, since we're having this conversation? Because I wanted to get us to the point of where you're headed now and what life looks like. But how did your understanding kind of change?
So one of the things that I'm working with now, this idea, this concept, this philosophy, understanding, is when you have a purpose of revenue and for-profit business,
talk about it.
Your decisions are going to look very different than someone whose purpose and drive is mostly informed by service. Not to say that profit can't equal service, because it can.
Because it can, wholeheartedly.
But what is your priority and value and purpose of company? What's your mission statement? What's your vision statement, right?
Yes.
And so I first started out with a service-oriented view. I think I'm still very service. I think that takes priority over anything, or else I'd have more money than I do now, to be honest with you. I can tell in my life, I'm like, I could have done that at this age. But I started out, I went to Penn State Harrisburg. I went to school. And I experimented with a lot of plant medicine. Like psychoactive, psychotropic medicine. Changed my life completely. 360, I'm like, I'm going to major in sociology, criminology. We need to help people. People are fucked up. Oh my gosh, can I curse?
That's fine.
People are messed up right now, and we need to help them. And so I saw the world through a different lens, and that led me to my first community event that I organized. And it wasn't ticketed. It was a free community event. And so my vision was, I need to create spaces for people to remember community. I need to create spaces where I am not driven by work. My parents are immigrants. They came here to work. They came here to get a better life. They came here to make money and not be poor. And so that was ingrained in my head from childhood. And then over the years, slowly, I kind of ebbed and flowed between profit generating being my top value and then service still being at the back of my mind. It was always there. It was like, this is bigger than profit. It's bigger than a business. Me and my life season that I'm in right now, it's bigger than a business. It's so much bigger than a business. And so I think I've been in that ebb and flow for so long. And now I know we're getting to that, the life changes that I'm making right now and the decisions. It is me saying, okay, I'm going to listen to this big thing in the back that says service. My business is pretty okay. I can step away. I have a team. I can do work virtually. I'm in the perfect position to listen to that voice while also still building up what I've been creating.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you're stating earlier in life, when it came to understanding purpose, your purpose was, it was always service minded, but you had an ability of like, well, you know, revenue building, business mindset, and then finding an opportunity to be service minded while doing it. But as life has continued to evolve and you have evolved in it, service is coming to the forefront. And you're like, I am now moved to say that it is about community, it is about what is necessary. It's about true life change. And and I would like to believe, because we do still need to sustain ourselves, you believe that the revenue will come wherever it comes. Is that?
You have to still build out the revenue, and I'm still focused on it heavily. Some days you'll find me stressed thinking about how am I going to support this? This is the first time I've ever brought on independent contractors, the freelancers. Am I going to, how am I going to pay them? They're not even full-time or part-time employees yet, but contractors are a thing. And so there is a magic there where you have to trust that you're doing the work enough, even if like right now it might be, you're going through a weird challenge, but you have to trust that you did the work.
Right.
So there is some of like, that revenue's coming in, but it's also because you did the work to get there.
Okay.
But to answer your then first part of your question, like my purpose has evolved to not just be service oriented, but to be also directly impactful and offering based as well. Okay. I don't just want to be of service in a large general picture. I want to talk to people.
Amen.
Because you can put out some information online and never meet your clients.
Fair.
They're buying things from you. You're impacting people
Fair.
with a book you wrote, but you're never having conversations.
Right.
And I think that right now, as I've done both, I am like remembering that my purpose lies in personal relationships.
Okay.
And I don't want to stray away from that no matter how the company evolves or how my work evolves.
Okay.
I want to be boots on the ground and I want to talk to people sitting on couches, sitting on the floor, drinking water, drinking tea.
Right. Doing whatever. Like you're like, but I need to be in relationship.
Relationship is so important. So conversation.
It's community focused, but it is that relationship. It's relationship based. And while I took it from a standpoint of impact is still there, but you're like the relationship of it, the ability to have relationship one-on-one and going back to the roots of a lot of ways that things have started where it was very relational.
Yes.
That is where you seem to be headed. Is that?
Yes, that is the perfect way to describe that. I know people who are very successful.
Amen.
And who make good coin doing what they do, who sell good product, but their interpersonal relationships suck.
Got it.
They can't hold conversation.
Right.
They're awkward. They're not making eye contact. They still hold back. They still have this like sense of like loneliness.
Right.
You don't really share yourself. And there's boundaries, of course, you always have, but like your interpersonal relationships aren't reflective of this enormous impact you're giving to the world.
Right.
You're giving it to strangers versus being able to impact the people directly in your backyard, aka the person I go to sleep with every night, aka my mother that I talk to every day.
Yes.
Like what do those relationships look like? Because they're a reflection, they're a mirror. So I just don't ever want to lose that because I saw myself trying to lose that. I was so busy, I'm on the go, I can't talk right now, so I can't hang out with you, I'm so busy.
Right.
Bro, those are your peoples.
Right.
Or are they not?
And that's a whole nother like can of worms, but that's exactly it.
They might not be, but whatever.
So, all right. So then I had another question and then we're going to get into the journey, but it was, how did building Delightfull Co. and Raíces Creativas help you clarify? Or was it more of a question of your purpose? Like how did building these companies that you've done, because you've done multiple, you've got Delightfull Co. and then you've got this beautiful creative, collective, which is again more community based. So you went from this company to now building this like collective.
Yeah.
How did building these different things help either make you question and or redefine like what that looked like for you when it came to your purpose? And did they? I guess is the beginning of it.
True. I think that Raíces Creativas helped me clarify it 100% because through Raíces Creativas was I able to build and strengthen the relationships that I have now with my now friends, with my now amigas, my familia, so we got together to create Hispanic Heritage Month events in Central Pennsylvania and Harrisburg.
Right.
And little did we know, it was because we needed community.
Girl.
We wanted to create events because we didn't have friends. All of us were Latino entrepreneurs that were like, where are my people at?
Yes.
And we created this amazing friend group. Yeah. Some of us are, we all have each friends, but then together we're still a crew.
Absolutely.
And so that actually helped me clarify my purpose. When I was creating Raíces Creativas, I realized that this is what I'm doing it for, is because I want to meet my people and I want to create spaces where I feel safe.
I love this.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. And then creating Delightfull Company, like I said, there was a season in my life where I was just focused on income, revenue, and profit. And I was losing interpersonal relationships. And I was thinking I was hot shit in some weird way. And it's like, without people, we are nothing. And especially for a mission service driven company, which you can have service and mission driven for-profit companies. For someone like that, for me to lose interpersonal relationship, it means losing the entirety of what I created.
Absolutely.
It is empty.
Right. You're like, what am I doing?
I've been definitely clarifying that through those creations.
I love this. Well, do you ever find yourself having any tension between where you are now, what you're building, and what you already have? Or are you in a position now where, because you feel so secure, it's all just kind of like falling into place? Like, what does that look like?
It might be because I'm like a fairly amateur entrepreneur, I would say. But I'm like, it's scary every day.
I know that's right. She's like, look, the tension's always there.
Girl, what? I have moments where I'm so strong and I'm so empowered and I soak all that up. When I'm in it, I'm like, yes, I feel this. But I know that I might wake up tomorrow, or a challenge might occur, or an obstacle might come into my face and say, hold up.
Right.
You got something to think about now.
Yeah.
So, and that's the ebb and flow. I like to think of life as a never ending roller coaster ride. Right. There's no destination. There's no finish line that I'm racing towards.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, I completed a goal yesterday that made me feel 10 times more secure in my company. So the way I'm showing up right now was different than 2 days ago because of that.
I love that.
But that's not to say that in 10 days, I'm not going to be faced with another obstacle that is either going to push me further or maybe, a little back set for a better comeback. So I do feel way more secure than ever in my life.
I love this.
But I know that in 10 days and in 10 years, I will feel way more secure than I feel now.
Than you do now. Well, and it leads me to, so I just had a guest recently and we were talking about work and the things that she was doing. She had made mention of her dad, where when I forget what the question was or what we were talking about, but this leads me to that, where we were talking about when do you know you've arrived, or when do you know that what does success look like? How do you define it? What does that mean for you? And in the conversation, she was saying that, yes, I can celebrate the now, but her dad, even when she was younger, would always be like, yeah, you got an A, but what about this next thing? What about, and not to take away from, but his response was, as long as you have breath and as long as you are living, you should constantly be trying to get to the next thing. And it feels very in alignment of what you're saying right now. That idea of we're constantly going, and as long as we're living, you should always be striving for ... whatever that looks like. Yeah. And you should constantly be in this state of evolving, growing, doing, being, becoming something, whatever it is, and moving forward in it to become this beautiful space. Yeah. And it sounds like, if I'm hearing you, you've started with the entrepreneurial journey. Mm-hmm. You've built these things beautifully. Mm-hmm. You found yourself in a position where you were lacking community. Mm-hmm. So now you've built this amazing, yet another collective, but it was built under the guise of, I need this. Mm-hmm. And so not only am I giving to the community and building this beautiful thing, I myself need this. And now you're evolving to a space where all of the things that you've built are helping aligning you and your new purpose of going out and being relational and it sounds like being very clear on where you're headed now and the relationships that you want to create. Yeah. That's
great. I'm like, that's it.
That's what it's giving.
Yeah, so, 100%,
And I know that in all of this, and we've talked about this when we did the Latina podcast and everything else, you have this spark of also learning self-identity more too. So not only are you being relational, and I think that they do kind of they're hand in hand.
100%.
In order to be relational and to relate to others, you have to have a clear understanding of who you are, but not just who you are from a surface level, but like take inventory and understand genuinely who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, where did that spark come from? And
I was waiting for you to ask.
Okay. We're here now.
Yeah.
Where
I was about to say it. I was going to be like, hey, I need it.
No, I'm on it. Here we go. So where did that come from?
So it's so important for me because I didn't know myself growing up. Like, Lissette, I don't know if you can relate. And I'm so excited to, tune in for Lissette's turn because I want to know, because when we grow up in a household in the United States of America with immigrant parents from another country, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of like this like economic change, this like world and global change of principles, of work, of values, of, the state of the world. You can, and with social media starting off too, right. I didn't know who I was. I was a people pleaser. I loved stimulation. I was an adrenaline. I still love adrenaline, but like in like I want to jump off a plane adrenaline, but like I just wanted, really?
Yeah.
Amazing. I was like just here for the stuff, here for the party. And I spent so much time in stimulation and overstimulation that I never had time to quiet myself. Ooh. And I was always people pleasing. Yeah. So I didn't even know what my opinion was for many things. Growing up, I'm the baby of the family too. So like all of those things, when I started to explore, nature's blessing of plant medicine, I was able to tap into myself in a way that I never did before, which also brought me closer to God, which no religion, but God. And so my goal, I want people to ask themselves the hard questions. I want people to look into another person's eyes and see themselves.
I know that.
That's the most vulnerable thing you can do. And that's the best way to know thyself. Absolutely. Is if you're in those spaces, vulnerable, naked, who are you when the whole world's looking at you? Ooh. It's so nervous. It's so much. But so it comes from me not knowing myself. That I want to know myself so much. And I want to know more than myself, beyond the human experience of Leslie. Who's my spirit? Where's my soul? Who are my ancestors? What did they do before colonialism, before imperialism came and took them all away, and forced us into shoes, forced us into these workplaces? Who are we at the core of like human soul, universal experience? It's like so.
You go all the way in, so you literally like
I need it all.
So it sounds like your journey started with all of the work that you were doing, and then just getting to a point when you were exploring within the plant medicine world and the things that you were doing and creating these different things, that you realized, wait, I don't know me. And then in trying to figure out self and understanding yourself, you also then took it even further and said, what are all, because I do believe in like the fact that, we are all like parts of our families from before and our ancestors, and like, there's this beautiful collective of like, we're pieces of things that have happened beforehand and going from that point. So all of that has then led you to like go super into like learning your true ancestry and like getting into it. Can you share like that emotional or spiritual moments that led you to learn about your like indigenous, like ancestral pockets, like that, not pockets, like history, I guess. Like, and like, what does that mean? Because it sounds like, if I'm understanding correctly, you've gone fully into it. Because we had this conversation when we did the Latina podcast about like that idea of like even the colonialism that most of our cultures, each one of different, we all carry. What does this like shedding, I guess is the right word, look like for you? And like where have those moments led you to now? And then we're going to talk about how did that lead you to your journey.
So, when I didn't know myself and I started exploring what that even means, I had to you have to break it down, right? What makes up the person? You look at your family, and like I'm a direct, birthing of my mother and my father. And so look at them, study them, and you study their grandparents, and then you study your grandparents, and then you continue to break it apart. And I got to Ecuador, and I got to like, I guess my question was, if I wasn't forced to be all these things that these people are trying to make me, my parents, my school, the economy, the media, without all these external influences trying to put me into a box and label me,
right,
who would I be? If it was all up to me, if no one else was pressuring you to be somebody,
right,
who would you be? And that's scary for some people because it's like, dang, would I be loose? You know what I'm saying? Go out here on the streets looking crazy.
Right.
But so that was me breaking down what makes me up, right? The influences from my mother and my father, the influences from their parents, from my grandparents, the influences from my great grandparents, the influences of the land, of nature, the influences of universal cycles of, existence.
Okay.
So I was able to break that down and then shedding whatever others have put on me.
Okay.
I don't like when people have expectations of me.
Okay, that's fair.
In any way, shape, or form. Like I come up, I show up and I be who I am, and there's going to be a pattern there, obviously, because I'm this existent being, but I also am one that goes with the flow and goes with the wind. And if one day I show up differently or the other day I show up differently, I think that everyone is supposed to accept and be so present that what is coming to me right now is what is happening right now. That's all it is.
That's amazing.
And try not to make judgments on it.
Okay.
And so shedding societal expectations, familial expectations, like gender roles and career roles and norms on me was me then trying to find out what part of my existence do I mostly connect with. And for me then that took me to go back to Ecuador.
Okay.
And I needed to go back to the land that it all originated on.
I love this.
I needed, and some people might not need to, but I needed to go back to the mountains. I needed to touch that soil. I needed to be there in order for me to understand.
Honestly, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So this is off cuff, but I need to know.
That's how I like it.
Yeah, no, I need to know what do your relationships then look like when it comes to like family and other things? Because with you having, well, some may even call, for lack of like verbiage, radical, right? Views on,
call me an anarchist,
on like shedding of everything, because I come to realize that, and we'll get into when you're asking, I have come to realize that I am someone that, I don't want to say thrives, but I know the expectations that have been put on me, right?
Yeah.
I understand the assignment of being the older sibling.
Are you the oldest?
The first, I am. You can understand now the way that we show up,
yes,
right?
100%.
I wonder, how do your relationships look like with those that still maintain that framework when you have chosen to live so beautifully free?
That's a great question, because I used to show up crazy.
Okay.
I used to not care about others' feelings too much when I was first in my radicalness. I was like bursting out. I'm like, you're crazy. You're being put in a box.
Right.
You're being put in a box. You are a box. And I was just like going off. And it was childish, but you got to go through the things.
Up
and
down.
So
right.
How I show up now with people that still keep a framework, I'm educated about my radical beliefs, so I could back it up.
I know that's right.
So I'm not talking crazy.
Okay.
I have the facts. I know what to say.
Okay.
And I only get into those conversations if they initiate.
Okay.
If you want to know, I ask. I'm like, you want to get into, you have time?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, then we're ready to go, because I love having these conversations because I'm very educated on it. And my goal is not to convince anymore. I'm not going to convince you to leave your framework.
Right.
You thrive in it.
Right.
You're successful in it.
Right.
You better go ahead.
Right.
Show up for me who can't.
I love this. Okay.
I cannot show up in those frameworks. So please be that I can't. And you can't show up in my framework. So let me be that for you. And that's where community comes in, because if you're good at what I'm not and I'm good at what you're not, then we create together. creating partnerships, creating collaborations, creating businesses, creating organizations, creating a family, right? Your partner who you choose, your life partner, the person of your children, like whoever you are creating relationship with at any moment should be able to offer you a framework that you're not that much in. But if both have interest in each other's frameworks, then they can match.
Okay.
So that's how I show up now. I want to be with people who are operating in that framework because I'm not the best at it.
And you understand that and you recognize it, but then you're also providing, and it goes into your purpose. And I love what we're like this conversation. You're providing then opportunity and space for people to explore and understand another way of thinking, being, showing up, and all of the others. And then it's like, and if you want to go down this path with me, great. If you are not a person who can, I know that I need someone like you in my life, and we can still be in relationship. 100%. That's what it's sounding like.
100%. Before I was a little bit more abrupt with it. And I would say that I was like not understanding of others and caring for their framework. But I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And with that confidence, I can show up and create relation with people who are different than me. But if I don't like you, I don't like you. That's different.
And that's a whole different, right.
But if I like you and your framework is just different, let's grow.
That's amazing. So then, now let's lead to your journey to Ecuador. What called you specifically to going down there, and what's the mission for?
So I always had in mind going to Ecuador and living there.
Okay.
But it was just a dream. Just like any kid has a dream. I want to go back to Ecuador. I want to live in the mountains. I want to climb and I want to find myself and I want to talk to my ancestors. So my whole life changed last year.
Okay. Talk to me.
The best come-ups, the best story of the Phoenix rising comes when you have absolutely nothing. When you've been teared down to the ground.
There it is.
Like, you gotta be ready for your whole world to be hit with a bat and destroyed.
Amen. Yeah.
For you to rebuild and come again. And it's that story of redemption. I'm obsessed with it.
I love it.
I'm obsessed with having nothing. That's why, like, at any moment, I'm like, if you want to take, like, God, if you want to take it all away from me, go right ahead.
Right.
Let me start over again. Shit, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
We're ready.
Because it's not mine to begin with. It does belong to the universe and it does belong to the wind. And so if one day none of this is mine, being detached enough to be able to let everything go. You know what I'm saying? It hurts and it's sad and you got to be ready for that. And there's some things that I might be attached to even as I speak. But last year, 1 year ago, December, October, November, broke up with my partner, quit my job. You know the story.
Yep,
cut my hair.
Yep.
All right, cool. Meet somebody else, fell madly in love, got my heart broken, back to back. Perfect. My lease ended October.
Okay.
So I'm sitting in my apartment and I'm like, why am I going to renew my lease?
Right.
I have absolutely nothing. I work virtually. I have gigs and I have clients that all are
Everything's virtual. Okay.
I'm like, this is it, Leslie.
Okay.
This is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for.
Okay.
I have nothing and nobody to respond to. And so packed up the U-Haul, drove to Texas where my family lives.
Right.
Said, hey, I'm tapping in. Dropped off books, clothes, things.
Okay.
Booked my flight to Ecuador for February.
Okay.
And I'm ready to go.
So my lease is coming up. This has been one heck of a year. We're almost done with it. And because this is it, it's time.
It's time. And like I knew it. There was this whisper in the back of my head. It was a knowing. It was a dream. Whatever it was, the voice was like, this is the time.
See, now here's my type A personality comes in.
Ask me the questions.
Like,
I got you.
No, I'm like, this is where type A. So how much time did you take to plan out this trip?
Girl, okay. So I made up my mind that I was going to Ecuador after my birthday. September 11th was my birthday. So after end of September, beginning of October, I'm like, so what am I about to do about this lease? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to Ecuador. And I started telling everybody before I had nothing planned. That's a tactic that I do. Okay. Actually, it's a learned tactic. I tell people things that I want to happen because then you will hold me accountable. Because if you're not holding me accountable because you're my friend and you're not texting me about it, then you're going to hold me accountable because the next day I see you at an event, you're going to be like, hey, did you do that thing?
Right.
And I want to say no.
Right.
So I tell people things that I'm about to do. So I was telling everybody, I was like, I'm moving to Ecuador. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know about the U-Haul. I didn't know about Texas. I was like, I'm going to Ecuador. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm going.
And so then you just packed up a U-Haul.
I packed up the U-Haul and I drove
took the things to Texas because that's what
I sold almost everything.
Wow.
Facebook Marketplace. I sold my drawers. I was selling everything. Girl, I was about to sell my bed. I was putting everything. I didn't have anywhere to like put my clothes for a little bit. It was just on the floor, to be honest, because I was selling everything.
Oh my gosh. And then you just took everything else.
Yeah.
You're leaving it with family.
Yes. So my mom and dad, they're ecstatic that I'm spending time with them. They had a guest room that was like, they were like, it's been ready for you.
I love this.
So I'm grateful. And honestly, I haven't lived with my parents in 2 years, haven't lived with my sister in 5 years, and haven't lived in the same city as my brother for about 15 years.
Wow.
And they all live in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
So I am taking this moment between Harrisburg and Ecuador to spend time with family that I haven't. And I have a niece and nephew there. So
yeah.
Yes.
So you're spending the time then. And so you're basically dropping things off, spending time with family, getting things in Texas. And then February, you're on a flight. So here again,
I only bought a one-way. Type A. I know. I was about to say, like, that don't freak you out. I bought a one-way.
A one-way ticket. Mm-hmm. Do you have accommodations at all?
Yes.
Okay. Thank the Lord, guys. She's got a plan.
My tios and tias live there.
Okay,
so
good.
I'll be living with some in Quito for a little bit, in Cuenca for a little bit.
Okay.
In Azogues, in Chacapamba. So.
Well, now let's ask, what do you hope to experience? What do you hope to feel like or uncover while you're there?
So I definitely have loose plans of connecting with nonprofit organizations that do work out of there. I've been in the nonprofit world for about 8 to 10 years. So like that, community service, it inspires and motivates me. I want to connect with people that are doing work to protect land, indigenous land down there is like something that really fires me up. I want to connect with people who are doing herbal medicine down there, plant medicine in Ecuador.
Love this.
Yeah. So that is my loose plans. And then also it's just to like live I just need to live there.
Yeah.
Something's coming, but I just need to show up. When you know something's waiting for you, but you don't know what, you don't know where, you don't know who, you don't know how, you don't know anything. Just show up. Just go and just stay. Just go and show up and stay.
That's it.
Soak it up, listen, stand in it, and just stay.
That's a word. Mm-hmm. And see, one of my questions, but I'm not even going to ask now, was how are you preparing mentally and emotionally, like for this trip? But like,
I don't even know.
You're just showing up,
yes.
When you know that that's where you're headed, everything else is what it is. You're just showing up, and then whatever comes from that.
Yes.
You're ready to tackle.
Yes. I think mentally I'm preparing myself in the most general but foundational way of like, you're going to Ecuador, you better show up all the way. And I keep repeating it to myself every single day. I'm showing up, I'm ready. Because if you're going to just show up and not be ready, that's different, right? So I'm showing up and I'm saying I'm ready for whatever comes.
So, and I don't even know if you're going to have an answer, but like making a choice like this and taking this kind of journey like is a huge risk.
Yeah.
Like I feel like have any, and if so, what fears have come up for you?
I guess like if I could boil it down to a fear of mine is that I won't have enough time to make the connections that I want.
Okay.
Like maybe just like not sending an email or like not sending the email or having the time. But that just means that I got to just be responsible.
Right. Just making sure that you're present.
And open up my laptop every day. I'm not scared because I'm going home.
And that's why I said, I was like, so again, some of the questions that I had created you can tell when I was preparing this conversation about this beautiful journey that you're doing, I did it from a framework of a type A personality. The how do you prepare, the what was it, the fears that might have come up, how have you worked through those things? Because, and here's just, as I'm looking over and I'm having the conversation that we're having, which is so beautiful because we're so different, but so much parallel too.
Yeah.
I'm realizing the reason why I probably haven't and don't know if I would do something like this. And that's why I wanted to have the conversation because it's inspiring for others that may want to do this.
Yes.
Is because for me, there would be so much planning and preparation mentally, physically, financially. Like I would want to have, it goes back to where we started when it comes to purpose, like that idea of I'd want it to have a certain level of, it's not perfect, but as darn close to it as possible.
And, I think if you're asking me to tell somebody that wants to do this.
Yes, that is one of my questions.
So how to get there, right? Then I can answer more specifically. Because if you're asking about my process, girl.
She's like, wherever.
But if I'm giving, someone else, for someone else, like at the bare minimum, like for me, it was just like, I needed to do this and I needed to go and I don't know how and it just needs to happen. But if you have the time and the space and you're overthinking, just be able to feed yourself.
Right. Fair.
South America is very low expensive. It's very low cost.
Yeah.
I'll be paying for food max a day, 3 meals a day, $25 a day.
Wow.
If I want to eat out.
Yeah.
If I'm feeding myself, way cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Maximum $10 to $15 a meal. Minimum $5 a meal.
Yeah.
So be able to feed yourself. Have people in that country.
Right.
I'm grateful I have my tios and tias, which makes the trip even better. I'm actually connecting with family.
Because you're connecting with family, which goes back to your purpose of relationship.
Exactly. I need it. Yes. Like in my family, there's trauma there. Like I need to work. I need to connect with my tios and primos, like I need to, but know somebody there, have a point of reference because you can get taken advantage of.
Right.
If you go to another country, they know you don't speak that language. They're going to charge you an arm and a leg for everything.
100%.
So work on that language also. Like download Duolingo. I just hit my 365th day of Duolingo streak yesterday for Portuguese or 2 days ago. But download Duolingo, do something, watch YouTube videos about that language. Have a good internal compass and confidence about at least know you don't, then going out with that person that that is from that place.
Okay.
So that is very important for me right now in this journey.
Okay.
And being able to feed yourself. If you are working through the fears of failing, of not having enough, of being lost, of feeling alone, like, first of all, why did you choose that country?
Fair.
Have this conversation with yourself.
Yes.
Did you just choose a random place on the map? Which is fine too. But that's more of a curious exploration.
Right.
And in order to curiously explore, you're going to need more funds than someone who's going back home. So my story is very unique.
Going home. Right.
Yeah, my story is very unique to that extent. Like, but you have to have a really good relationship with the universe and your ancestors and God. All those three things might be the same for you. They are for me. I just separate them. If you more do God, if you more do universe, if you more do ancestors. But like prayer and meditation is so important because you're gonna have fears and anxieties that come up. And if you do not trust God, if you do not trust the universe to whisper you to the right direction, you're going to be always in here.
Right.
There are some things that the mind cannot grasp.
Fair.
That only the soul knows.
Okay.
And being able to listen to your soul and not your head is a skill.
Fair.
So you have to learn to get better at that. If you're embarking on a journey like this.
Okay.
Because the journey is not a vacation.
Right.
You don't have an itinerary.
Right.
You're going to live somewhere for a couple of months. So it's very different. That trust that comes is very different.
What would you say trusting yourself has taught you so far in life now?
That life is always going to be okay.
Okay.
Even if you make the wrong decision, okay, then just show up and make it right next time.
Right.
Like, we be freaking out about shit.
100%.
Like, trust yourself. If you made the wrong decision, trust yourself that you're going to buck up and you're going to do it better next time. And you're going to learn and you're not going to do it again, period.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're like, prior to doing something like this, you need to learn to follow your intuition, your soul, your like listening to that inner soul.
Yes.
Versus the mind that will play tricks on you, have you type A, having you wanting to know all of the parts, making sure that everything's figured out, doing all of the things before you even like take that first step, let alone the leap that you're taking.
Yes.
And then also learning to trust yourself has gotten you to the point of, I know that even if there are stumbling blocks, things happen, I trust myself enough to understand and stand true that I'm going to be able to get through whatever that is.
Whatever, because I'm strong and I got a team behind me. Exactly. Whether it's my ancestors, my family, my business, like, I'm set. Get set with Lissette. Like,
I know that's right.
You know, like, you know, yeah, like there is a type of like confidence that comes with it. This is like, you gotta, try me.
Right.
Like, I want people to try to convince me out of this so I can educate them on why I won't. Like, I have done this and I've had these conversations internally enough. I've battled my own inner critic.
Yeah.
And I have won every single time. So any other person that's trying to help me to make better decisions of not going to another country that you don't know, like, I already went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I know.
How would you say this journey has already changed you before even embarking in it?
My confidence. I made a decision and almost my whole family's scared for me.
Okay.
And
as am I, but I'm like excited for you.
Yes. And so it's made me learn to show up for myself. It's made me be more confident, and it's made me love myself more, because this is a decision that I'm making. And as much as I love somebody else, I won't say no because you're scared for me, because I'm not scared I'm not going to help you with your emotions. That was crazy. I'm not going to help you with your emotions. Right. I'm going to do what I need to do.
Exactly.
And I'm going to train myself in the best way so that I can show up in these spaces. I know what, I've been researching into what the political climate is in Ecuador. I know what I'm stepping into.
Because that was another question of mine.
Yeah,
like,
it's real serious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you have to be educated and aware of the political climate, and then know how you're going to show up, know the culture. I'm from Ecuador. Once again, uni case, I'm going home. I also have tias and tios there. I've been asking them, like, what's the best way to show up in these spaces that you're in,
Okay, so you're giving me some hope here as far as like the planning part of my side. But no, so what I'm hearing, and I love this, is while logistically there may have been some like, it is what it is when it comes to you.
Yes.
Your time was spent in preparing your inner muscle, right? The ability to trust self.
Yes.
Like, that's what you built up.
Yes.
But then also you've taken time to understand the lay of the land.
Yes.
And the place that you're going to. So you have, if nothing else, at least, which also helps your inner muscle of being able to trust yourself.
Yes.
You understand, and the work that you've done is not necessarily the outside of like the where, the who, because again, you're going back home. So you didn't have to worry about the logistics of it all.
Too much. Yeah.
Too much. But rather than focus and put so much emphasis on things that I think that we tend to get caught up on, which goes back to the conversation of framework of what we're supposed to look like and how things are supposed to be and what that's supposed to be and what these kinds of things are. Rather than do that, you've done the inner work.
Yes.
You feel confident in self.
Yes.
You trust yourself.
I do.
You know where you're headed.
I do.
You've prepared yourself to go to that space, and you are, if nothing else, ready to combat whatever comes with it.
Yes.
Because there is a clear, if nothing else, foundational understanding of the why you're going, the going back home aspect of it, the going there to create relationship and community, because that's so aligned with the work that you're doing now and the purpose that you're driving.
Right.
And you're prepared for whatever comes with it because you feel in your heart of hearts that this is where you're supposed to go.
Yes.
Is that a fair?
Amazing.
Okay.
Like literally the best reiteration, because there is a lot of trusting and a lot of intuitive and a lot of feeling and a lot of saying yes.
And a lot of saying yes on the things that most people may say no to because because there's a lot of unknowns on the other side.
Correct.
But
and
you're ready for those because you know that you're good.
I ain't got nothing else. What better to say yes to than,
girl,
my history, my ancestral lineage.
This episode is not done, guys. There is more to it. You want to watch the entirety? You have to go to My Girls Podcast. You can find it at delightful.world. Check out the full conversation.